Over the last few days, I've been talking with a couple of kids of mine about time horizons and how we measure results. And each of them was frustrated or concerned to some degree with different aspects of their life. Things like health and fitness goals and where they are in their career. And what was interesting, though, is when I asked, well, how do you feel about building wealth and your finances? Neither one of them were concerned at all. And each of them had the same answer as to why. Well, I'm not going to need that money for years and years, for 20, 30, 40 years. And by then, the compound effect will have taken place, and it will have grown to be plenty, and I may be at a point where I don't even need it, but I'm not worried because it's so far away. And what was interesting, though, is as we dug into the issues that they were concerned about, their time horizons weren't decades. It was weeks and months. And so they're frustrated that they weren't where they wanted to be in their career after a couple years, and weren't where they wanted to be with some weight goals and some fitness goals after just a few weeks. And what kind of came out was that in general, we all way overestimate what we can accomplish in a short period of time and way underestimate what we can accomplish in a long period of time, regardless of how we define those. So I said, let's just say, for example, we're 20 pounds overweight. How long did it take us to get to be 20 pounds overweight? Probably not weeks or months, probably years. And yet, when we look to lose 20 pounds, we don't think, well, it'll probably take as long to lose it as it took to gain it, so probably years. We think like probably a couple weeks. And so for easy math, if we say it's going to take 2 years, but I'm going to shorten that to 500 days rather than 365 times 2. So 500 days it took me to gain this weight. So it'll probably take me 500 days to lose this weight. We don't look at losing 20 pounds as a 500-day project. We look at it as a really couple weeks project. So on day 20, after 3 weeks or so, we're really frustrated. We've been doing all this work, eating better, exercising more, but we're not seeing results. Well, because it's a 500-day project and we're only on day 20. We're here on the compound effect, not out here yet. That'll come. The results will come and start compounding as we go day after day after day after day of eating well and exercising more. We just haven't given enough time because we're overestimating what we can accomplish in that short period, but underestimating what we can do in that longer period. Because either it's going to not take 500 days or we're going to lose way more than 20 pounds in 500 days. We're underestimating that long term, but overestimating the short term. And that's the point of frustration. Will we eventually be where we want in our career? Decades from now, will we be where we want in our career if we keep working at it? Of course. Probably way further than we can even imagine. But after a couple years or a couple months, are we where we want to be? No, because we had unrealistic expectations of what could have been achieved in that short period. Pick your short period. We overestimate what we can do in a day. Pick your long period. We underestimate what we can do in a week. Overestimate what we can do in a month. Underestimate what we can do in a year. Overestimate what we can do in a year. Underestimate what we can do in a decade. I've heard it said that the poor, their time horizon is days, maybe a week. That they're thinking about tomorrow and the weekend. The middle class think in terms of months and years. That where will I be this time next year? What's my 3 or 5 year goal? And the wealthy think in terms of decades. I think about our city here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and what's been done to transform our city in the past decades. And we've built an arena and established a downtown and built hotels. There's been all kinds of development. They just developed a new downtown grocery store and some new apartments. And there's something, but it's always part of a master plan that's decades in the making. That's decades long to acquire the land and develop the land and put the plans together and then build. It's never like, hey, we should put a movie theater downtown. Yeah, let's do that this week. We didn't get anything done this week. The theater's not built. We don't overestimate that kind of stuff. The wealthy think long term. So when you're thinking about your goals, if you're frustrated and not where you want to be, consider that you might be having too short of a time horizon and you've overestimated what can be accomplished in that short term. And pick something longer term. If you thought it was days, think weeks or months. If you thought it was weeks or months, think years. And eventually think decades. What can you accomplish in decades if you extended your time horizon? You're probably frustrated because you're overestimating the short term, but you're also probably underestimating the long term. So if you're frustrated with where you are, reconsider your time horizons and how you're measuring your results.